Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. Each week, Abby and I try to bring people from across the country to talk to us about things we could do right here in New Mexico. On this week's show, we got this.
That intro.
That was the best intro ever.
Warmed the cockles of my heart.
Yes,
Goodness
my
me.
face hurts from smiling
I know,
so
right?
big.
All of that and more right here on New Mexico Rising. Domino's may be known for its pizza, but they're cooking up something new this fall. They've just launched their, one of the most exciting things I've ever can say out of my mouth right now. It's a 5-cheese mac and cheese and the spicy buffalo version to give it a little bit of a kick. So today we got Kate Trumbull, Domino's Chief Brand Officer, here to kind of share some fun facts about Domino's, including their most popular topping, busiest day of the year, and how the 64-year-old company keeps things fresh and innovative. Let's welcome her to the show. Kate, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Kate, you got to tell us about Domino's latest menu addition, this 5-cheese mac and cheese.
Well, we've been cooking this up because it's perfect for fall. And it's warm, it's delicious, it's cheesy. It comes in 2 varieties. 5-cheese mac and cheese, the classic, as well as spicy buffalo 5-cheese mac and cheese. And if you're looking for a little extra flavor, a little extra spice, you can upgrade it with bacon or jalapeno or both.
All right, that sounds amazing. All right, let's get to these 5 fun facts about Domino's in honor of the 5-cheese mac and cheese. All right, first question. So what was Domino's busiest day of the year? Is it Halloween or New Year's Eve?
Well, actually, there are a few really busy days, and those are 2 of them, as well as the big game.
Okay, question 2. How many of these pizzas does Domino's usually sell on Super Bowl Sunday?
Yep, on that Sunday, we sell over 2 million pizzas. So just for comparison, if you look at that versus an average Sunday, it's 40% more pizza on the big game Sunday.
All right, number 3. Tell us about the world's fastest pizza maker. What's their record? That sounds amazing.
So Joanna Mendez is this year's world's fastest pizza maker. She made 3 large pizzas in 39.3 seconds. She made them beautifully. And she happens to be the first woman in history to break that record and hold that title.
That's awesome. All right, so the big question, what's the most popular topping in the United States?
It happens to be my favorite topping. It's pepperoni, followed by sausage, bacon, mushroom, and then the most highly debated and discussed topping is pineapple that makes the top 5.
Hey, I'm not a person that shames pineapple eaters on pizza. I'm down with that. I like that. A little savory and sweet at the same time. Everyone's going to get mad at me that hate the pineapple, so I'm fighting for the pineapple. I'm on your side. All right, where can people grab the new mac and cheese, and are there any deals to help us out and know about it?
For sure. The mac and cheese is available nationwide at all of our stores. You can order it at Domino's.com, and it's part of our most popular discount and deal called $6.99 Mix and Match. And if you're a Domino's Rewards member, you can get a free order of mac and cheese when in exchange for 60 points.
Excelente. And I think this entire crew is looking at me. I think I got to get them lunch today. So finally, where can we go for more information?
You can find more information at Domino's.com.
Kate Trumbull, thanks for joining me this morning. And thanks for the 5 facts. That's amazing.
Thank you, and enjoy lunch.
We will. We will. With suicide being the 11th leading cause of death in the United States, understanding how to prevent it is more important than ever. Joining us today is Dr. Jill Harkavy-Friedman, Senior Vice President of Research at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. She's here to share some crucial insights from a new poll about the public's perception of suicide and mental health. And she's bringing us resources available for those in need. Dr. Harkavy-Friedman, how are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you.
All right, tell us more about this recent poll, and were the results surprising?
So the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has actually been conducting a poll every 2 years since 2015, so we can get a sense of public perceptions about mental health and suicide. And it's really helpful because it helps us direct our programs and advocacy. And what we're learning more and more over the years is that people understand that suicide can be prevented, at least sometimes, and that there are things that people can do to prevent it. But we also see that people understand that there may be some barriers to either reaching out for help or reaching out to somebody who's struggling.
So how can we recognize some of the warning signs of suicide, and how can that make a difference for someone struggling?
Well, we're trying to turn hindsight into foresight. So in other words, we're trying to increase awareness about potential warning signs, which show up in what people say, what they do, and how they feel. And they're assigned to reach out to someone. So they may say that life isn't worth living. They may say that they're a burden. They may, in terms of behaviors, start having trouble with sleep or appetite, or they may even give things away. And in terms of mood, while depression is often a big part of it, for some people they may feel irritable, or they may actually have experiences of humiliation. So we're looking for changes.
So why do you think there are still negative attitudes associated with talking about mental health?
The good news is that more people are comfortable talking about mental health than they used to be. But we're learning that when they don't feel comfortable, if they want to reach out to someone, they're not sure if they'll have the right words. And if they're reaching out for help, they're often worried about what family and friends will think. And so that's why these conversations are so important.
Are there different attitudes on suicide perception across different racial backgrounds?
Fortunately, it turns out that in terms of attitudes of wanting to help people and feeling that there are warning signs and that suicide can be prevented at least sometime, there are not big differences between different racial and ethnic groups. But when it comes to potential barriers to getting help, that's where we see some differences with Indigenous Americans and LGBTQ population feeling like it might be harder to get help. They're worried about costs, and they are worried about what family and friends will say.
Can you tell us about some of the resources that are available?
The good news is you're not alone. So if you know someone who's in crisis or you yourself are in crisis, you can call 988. If you're looking for more about the poll, you can go to suicidepreventionnow.org. If you're looking for other resources, we have some great mental health resources for all different populations at afsp.org, and lots of information about suicide prevention and what you can say to reach out to somebody who's struggling.
Thank you for joining me this morning, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
You know, choosing the right supplements can feel like navigating a maze with over 95,000 options on the market today. Have you ever stared at a bottle and wondered if it's like helping or just a waste of cash? You are not alone. Anika, Senior Director at Weight Loss and Nutrition at Lifetime, is here to help us make sense of pretty much all of this. She has over 15 years of experience as a registered dietitian, certified personal trainer, and creator of Lifetime Detox Program, which has transformed millions of lives. So let's welcome her to the show. Anika, how are you?
I'm so good, Dan. How are you?
I'm okay. That's probably the best I can say. I'm working on it. I might need your help. All right.
I'm here for you.
What supplements are? Let me just ask this question: Are supplements actually necessary for good health?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you live in America, the hard answer is yes. I've been working with consumers, members of Lifetime for 15 years, and it's always two phases for me. Where one, we eat the American diet that's lacking a lot of nutrition. We're exercising, we're sweating, we're on medicines. Those all deplete nutrients. So for everybody living here, I'm always like, absolutely. But I also know as a dietitian, the industry is loaded with products that aren't good or people have wasted their money on. So I always have to do a lot of education with clients to say, yes, but you want to make sure it's high quality, stuff that's studied with humans, things that are actually going to take you farther when it comes to your nutrition and health. And that's what we're here for. And I'm going to help you with that today, I think. So absolutely, yes.
All right. So which supplements are considered the most important then?
Yeah, so there's a few that I start people with. So if you're not doing anything, I will say I think the LTH multivitamin is my number one go-to for most people. It's going to fill in most of the gaps that are not in food alone, that you're depleting your nutrients when you're exercising or working out. That's kind of the customer at Lifetime. Most of the multivitamins out there are not great though. If they're a tablet, if they're a one a day, you're not going to get what you actually need. So the LTH one, we have 6 different capsules because that's actually what's required to get the necessary nutrients that you're missing. Second, I would put you on an omega-3 fish oil. And again, our diet's loaded with omega-6. That's pro-inflammatory. We don't like inflammation. Inflammation makes us gain weight. It leads to disease. We don't feel well. We need to offset that with omega-3s. And most of us aren't eating salmon every day. So it's an absolute in what I put people on. And then I would say number 3, a protein powder. I look at that as food, really, but if you're looking at it as a supplement, most of us are not getting enough. It is always better to hit your protein goals with powder than it is to not at all. So again, a lot of people want to do it through food alone. It's very difficult to do. There's not a lot of great quality sources out there. So that is a number 3 for me. If you're willing to do more, magnesium, vitamin D, most common deficiencies in the American diet, those would be number 4 and 5 for sure.
How can you determine which supplements are the high quality stuff versus the makers that just pump it full of sugar?
Yeah, so that's where that education comes from. I always tell consumers and my clients, you get what you pay for. So again, if you're bargain shopping for supplements, you're bargaining with your results. You do have to find some trusted resources. And I would say, again, when we're talking about how many products and companies are out there, most are not really fitting the bill of what is actually quality. At Lifetime, we have an LTH product line. We are hand in hand with our manufacturers, so we know where the ingredients are coming from. They're doing internal testing on those ingredients. We're putting research-backed formulas together. That's probably the number one thing I see in the industry is the product might not even show how much of that ingredient is in there, or it's not what was studied.
So how do you find the best trusted resource or that person to give you that guidance?
Yeah, so if you're a member at Lifetime, we've got several thousand for you to actually partner with and join in. I think you have to find people in the space. I will say it's probably not your influencer on social media. A lot of that, there's a lot of supplements in that space too, where they're not really educated, not working with customers. They're getting paid to promote a product. So that's who I would say is probably not the expert, but someone with a medical license that works in the space and has backed years of nutrition. If you're not a member of Lifetime, we have a digital app that's free as well. So you can join, download that, get into programs that are led by our dietitian team, as well as personal trainers, and you can get access to LTH for free, honestly. So that would be a great number, our second choice too.
And where can we go for more information about any of this?
Yeah, so if you don't already have the app, download the Lifetime digital app. Otherwise, you can go to shop.lifetime.life. Our 65 plus LTH private label SKUs are on there with education, information, most of those questions answered, and you can always reach out on that website if you have more questions that you want answered.
Anika, Chris, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
It's National Book Month, and a lot of kids don't have access to enough books. This month, Sonic Drive-In is teaming up with Donors Choose and Little Free Library to help. Today joining us is Stuart Brown from the Sonic Foundation and Shavon Simmons from Family Literacy of Georgia. They're here to let us know how we can support this effort and to get more books into the hands of kids. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Stuart, tell us about the work that Sonic is doing for National Book Month.
Sure. Look, Sonic has been supporting schools and education and literacy efforts for 15 years. We've given out $28 million in grants to support our students. And specifically this month to partner around National Book Month, we're working with Donors Choose and we're working with Little Free Library. Earlier this month, we gave $1.25 million to Donors Choose to support teacher needs all across America. Already, in the very first week of that initiative, 4,500 projects were completed, meaning that 4,500 teachers had the resources they need, the math books, history books, science books. But there's still thousands of other projects that still need to be filled. We'd love for you guys to jump in and help us complete those projects to make sure that every teacher that makes a submission around books this month gets that filled. But we're also working with Little Free Library. And Little Free Library is an incredible partner that puts these amazing little libraries in book deserts all across America. And we're happy to be partnering with them and helping them tell their story.
And Shavawn, why is book access so important for kids and families?
Well, I love to start with the reason that I am so passionate about book access, because I grew up in a home full of books. And I have learned over the years that not everybody is blessed with that situation. And as a retired educator, growing up in a house of educators, reading was a fun thing to do. And so what we are trying to do through our collaboration with the Little Free Library organization is to place access of book sharing stations in communities to make it easy for kids and their families to get books. Oftentimes, people think that if they have a library in the community or a media center at the school, then, why aren't they using those tools? But oftentimes, transportation may be an issue, time that the family may or may not have. The parents may not be able to take the children to these locations. So having installations of these little birdhouses on posts are a great way to enable families to joyfully receive books for free.
And what can our viewers do to help during National Book Month?
Really easy ways to partner with us. One is to go to DonorsChoose/FillEveryShelf. And there you'll see thousands of projects that you can make donations to help make sure that teachers in your community have the resources they need, and specifically this month, the books they need for their students. But another really fun way to support this work is just go down to your local Sonic drive-in. For every drink, shake, or slush you purchase, a portion of that sale will go to support our Limeates for Learning platform, which means even more money will go back in to support initiatives like National Book Month and organizations like Little Free Library.
And littlefreelibrary.org is where your viewers can go to register for a free book sharing station underwritten by the Sonic Foundation.
That's great. And Stuart, where can we go to find out more information about this initiative?
Yeah, so kind of the all-encompassing place if you want to go and just learn a little bit more about what Sonic's doing and the Limeates for Learning campaign is just go to limeatesforlearning.com. And there you'll see all about our partnerships, all about the work we're doing, and all about the important work that we're doing to support America's schools.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, is something millions of Americans deal with every night. And it's not just about losing sleep. A new survey reveals how this condition impacts not only health, but also relationships and work. Joining us today are Dr. Seema Khosla, a sleep expert, and Dr. Miranda Chappel-Farley, a researcher living with OSA. They're here to help us understand more. Welcome, you two.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much.
Dr. Khosla, can you help by explaining what obstructive sleep apnea is and how common it is?
Of course, yes. Believe it or not, it is more common than asthma and diabetes combined. When we have obstructive sleep apnea, the airway collapses during sleep. That makes our oxygen level fall and our brain wake up. And if you can imagine, some people do this numerous times an hour and even more through the night.
What did the SHINE survey find out about how OSA affects people's physical and mental health and also their jobs and relationships?
We see in the SHINE survey data that obstructive sleep apnea impacts people across many different domains, including physical and mental health. From the data, we can see that about 2/3 of respondents are really concerned about these long-term health impacts. Unfortunately, we also see that about 14% have actually reported sleepiness-related motor vehicle accidents just within the last 12 months. In terms of mental health, we see that over 50% of respondents are reporting anxiety and over 60% are reporting depression. You can imagine that this would make it very difficult to show up in the workplace and to do your best work. In fact, we see that over 90% of respondents say that obstructive sleep apnea affected their work just within the last week, and just under 50% say they can't concentrate or focus.
Why was a sleep survey conducted, and what can researchers in the sleep community do with this information?
You know, I think one thing that we have learned about in the last handful of years is to really appreciate that patient experience. They are generous enough, like Miranda is doing today, to share their lived experience with us so that we can be better partners. I am so thankful that people are willing to explore these less examined aspects of our lives that really do impact us. So, we historically have looked at heart disease and stroke and high blood pressure without necessarily delving into the emotional burden of having obstructive sleep apnea. Miranda talked about how this can affect your work. Respondents also talked about not feeling present for their families. So this isn't a disorder that just only affects you part of the day.
this affects you all day long in so many domains of your life.
Why is it important for companies like Apnea to conduct surveys like this? And what do you hope to take away from these findings?
You know, I'm really grateful to be part of the sleep community. It's very collaborative. So clinicians work with researchers and industry. It's so nice to have another set of eyes looking at this huge problem of undiagnosed obstructive sleep apnea, and they look at it through their lens. A lot of people in our orbit are very innovative, very intelligent, and by looking at the same problem through a different lens, I'm hoping that they can offer us new insight like we saw with the SHINE survey. I'm hoping down the road, maybe we'll have more treatment options to offer our patients.
If I may add too, this really highlights the heavy psychosocial burdens and challenges that are faced by individuals with sleep apnea just in their daily lives. So I hope that through these survey results, it can help to build community and spread awareness and help providers provide additional forms of support for individuals who are diagnosed with sleep apnea.
Where can our viewers go to learn more?
For anyone interested in seeing the survey results and wanting to read about real lived experiences of people living with sleep apnea, you can go to osasurvey.com.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think it's time to send out a SOS. All right, let the music play, because we're about to hit the rink right here, right now. And it feels like the gift of Christmas came early. And if this sounds like me, then you know we're geared up for some serious competition. I might even pour a little cider and Hennessy to toast what's about to go down. So we're entering the battlefield of skating, where it's like 1990 forever. And just for you, we've got not one, not two, but three incredible judges from Roller Jam. Are you ready for the roll call? First up, we have the legend himself, the roller skating OG from Venice Beach, Terrell Ferguson, Grammy Award-winning artist Jordin Sparks, and my absolute favorite guest, and this is serious, I can't help but interview him at least once a year, the iconic Johnny Weir. How are you three?
That intro.
That was the best intro ever.
Warmed the cockles of my heart. With
Yes,
goodness
my
me.
face hurts from smiling so big.
Love songs to Jordin Sparks.
Hennessy and cider.
Yes, that's my Christmas album. He got everything in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I tried. I got a little prepared this week. And also, I did bring my skates. And in honor of Johnny, I got a tiara up right there. Boom. This is my legit tiara too. So let's get into this. Roller Jam. It seems like a blast. How do you guys compare some of the other massive stages you've been on? And what surprised you most about this new roller skating world? Jordin?
Yes. Man, well, okay, so it's a lot of fun to be able to do this job. Honestly, I don't know if I could call it a job because we had so much fun. But we have been at the top of our respective fields, and we've been in entertainment for a long time, so we have a lot to give and a lot to share with these contestants. This is the biggest roller skating competition, the first of its kind. It's never been done before, so it's exciting, it's fun-loving, it's heartwarming, it's educational at the same time. There's so much that I didn't know about skating that I know now, but it's really, really amazing, and I'm glad that I get to be the referee between these two guys.
All right. Johnny, you've mastered the ice. Now you're working on the roller rink. What's the biggest challenge for these skaters when it comes to impressing you as a judge?
Well, my experience as a performer was at the highest of highs for any athlete at the Olympic Games, performing in sold-out arenas all over the world. So I was looking for the crews to kind of step out of just performing in their local rink and going big. I mean, there's $150,000 of prize money on the line, plus $10,000 that goes to their local rink. So they had to bring it and be better than they ever have in their lives. So I was looking for that. I was looking for the choreography, the emotion, the movement, the expression of each individual crew. We skated through the eras, 60s until now, musically, and we had different guest judges. Like, there was just a lot going on, and I wanted to make sure that they were able to give the best of themselves. But I very much was like Mama Bear on the panel. Sassy Pants over there with his technical critiques was definitely the sassy one.
I am not the sassy one. I am the coach. I'm the Phil Jackson, because they were phenomenal athletes. And so, like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, they needed a coach to guide them. And if you wanted this 150 grand, you needed someone to guide you and point you in the right directions. And that was all my critiques were.
You guys did great.
He was sassy.
And Terrell, you've seen like roller skating evolve over the years, especially starting in Venice Beach. What do you think makes roller jam stand out in the history of roller skating competitions?
Well, because it's the first. I mean, you have to stand out when you're the first. It's literally the first of its kind national skate competition that's been televised. And we have two great networks, Max and Magnolia, that are really giving it the push and the pampering and the love that it deserves, and bringing out, to me, what's one of the greatest sports ever. I mean, I thought I was going to be an NBA basketball player when I was young, but being 6 feet, skating worked out much better. And I'm taller in skates.
Yeah.
And I really like how they organize this. You guys all have unique backgrounds in performing and competition. What's it like watching these skate teams create their own routines? Do you guys ever see yourself in their passion, their creativity?
Yes, I mean, I definitely think we all can relate. We do the same thing. I mean, especially Johnny, he's had to do, well, and you as well, actually. All of us. I haven't had to come up with choreography. I play around and stuff like that, but I haven't had to do that. Huh?
You got a wiggle?
I know, I got a little something. But, you know, it's different when you take somebody from their comfort zone, right? Their local rink or Venice Beach or wherever they, you know, feel the safest performing, and then you bring them in front of lights, cameras, judges, different types of taping. There's just and a live audience. Like, there's just it's a whole other ball game in that way. And I feel like with my competition background on Idol, I feel like I was really able to relate to the contestants, being able to stand next to them and go, look, I've been in your shoes. And if you get a no, that is not the end of your career or the end of your journey. That you just pivot. So there can only be one winner in shows like this, and it was really beautiful to watch the camaraderie that they all had. Because even though skating, it can be an individual sport, it can be a crew sport, there's a huge community across the country, and they all support each other. And we really wanted that to come through on this show as well.
It's a feel-good competition show. You don't step away feeling overly tense. You know that whoever's going to win is a well-deserving crew.
Yeah.
You were super compassionate, too.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When I made them cry,
yeah, she picked them up.
Thank you three for hanging out with me this morning. You really made my day. To catch all the action and see which team rolls their way to victory, make sure to tune in to Roller Jam. It's streaming on Max with new episodes every Thursday, so you better not miss it. Jordin, Johnny, Terrell, love you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you made my day too. I'm gonna have to. I need that intro for the rest of my life now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. If you want to get some tickets to Red One, all you got to do is go to our website, newmexicorising.com, and fill out the form, because we're giving out a family 4-pack of passes to the advanced screening of Red One right here in Albuquerque. Follow our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. That is at NM Rising. And until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.